today's meeting, April 14th, 2026. It is now 5 o'clock. The regular scheduled board meeting for Montgomery Public Schools is now called to order. We will start our meeting with invocation by Pastor Booker McMillan, First Baptist Church.
Giver of every good and perfect gift. We thank you for the opportunity to gather together as school board members and other participants. We thank you for our commitment to our children and to this community. Grant us the wisdom to make sound decisions, understanding to hear one another, and the humility to seek what is best. Guide our thoughts, our words, and our actions, that we may reflect you in everything that we do. Bless the teachers, the administrators, the staff, the students, and all families that make up Montgomery Public Schools. Strengthen us to carry the heavy responsibility and help us to encourage those who serve faithfully behind the scenes. May all that is done in this meeting tonight bring glory to your holy and divine name. These things we pray in the strong name of Jesus, and we agree by saying amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Reverend McMillan. If you'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a wonderful treat for you this afternoon. We have a young man by the name of Alexander Edwards. Alexander is the grandson of Miss Walter M. Carr. He's been passionate about the arts from a young age. He has been playing an instrument since the 4th grade and became deeply involved in music during middle school. An award-winning musician, Alexander balances his artistic talents with strong academic aspirations, aiming to graduate high school, attend college, and pursue a career in the medical field. Welcome with me, Alexander Edwards. All right, thank you. And to the parents and supporters of Mr. Edwards, we're so thankful that you share him with Montgomery Public Schools. There has been an establishment of a quorum tonight. We're on to the approval of the agenda. Before we consider the agenda, I would like to take a moment to move some things. Only because the process that the board has established requires us, we have decided to have a work session as well as a board meeting. The work session does what it says. We work. We get to review, we get to research, we get to have time so that the decisions that we make, we can be assured that they are the right ones. Will they be, do we need some time to make adjustments to them? Sure we do. But we want to go into them feeling like we've done our best job. And for that reason, I would like to put before the board to move numbers 9, 10, and 11 to the work session this afternoon, as well as under consent agenda, numbers A and B. Now, board, consent agenda numbers A and B, we did here, but there has been some changes to that document, making that a new document that you would need to consider. That's why, that's the rationale for moving that, if that's okay. So you ladies tell me. I would probably need a motion, right? Okay.
Yes, Madam President.
All right, Madam President, I move that we move items 9, 10, and 11 to the work session, in addition to the consent agenda items A and B. 14, A and B.
Yeah, 14.
13, A and B. Excuse me, apologies, 13.
Madam,
It has been moved in second. Any that discussion?
Thank you. And I apologize for not saying something when you were, excuse me, discussing. When we did 9, 10, and 11, with number 11, do we need to also look at 13E under the consent agenda? Are they connected?
Yes. Yes, if you look at 13E, they are connected, so would you add E
I
to
would
your?
like to.
friendly amendment.
I'd like to amend that motion
Okay,
to include item 14E.
very good.
I have a motion that we also.
You can't make it.
Well, that includes another section of that.
But we
Can't have two motions.
You can't have too much on the floor. So it has been moved and second to add 13E to that original motion. Any more in the discussion? Any discussion? So you're including C and D? Okay. All right, so Ms. Cloud, would you say the words that you're amending the original motion to also add?
I am amending the original motion to add 13C and D to be included.
I second.
Okay, it has been moved and second that on the agenda, we are moving items 9, 10, and 11, 13A, B, C, D, and E to the work session. Is that correct?
Madam
Look, I can
President.
tell by their face, that's all wrong.
Madam President.
Yes.
So we need to take it back a couple of steps.
Okay,
Ms. Watkins' original motion was to amend the agenda, to include, or to remove those items to the work session. You guys had a discussion, but there was no vote. And so you would have to go back and vote on Ms. Watkins' motion. And then at that point, if that particular motion fails, then a new motion may be made.
word also included in that motion? Let's start.
How do we start over?
Just do.
Yes, so what we would have to do is, Ms. Watkins can make her motion again. You can request a second, and then go into discussion.
I see.
All right. I want to withdraw my motion.
Okay,
So,
okay, okay. Okay,
At this time, thank you, Madam President. I move that we amend the agenda to move items 9, 10, 11, 13A, B, C, D, and E to our work session.
I second it.
it has been moved in second that we move items 9, 10, and 11, 13A through E to our work session. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, may I see a show of hands for all of those that approve? It is unanimous. Thank you. Nothing like sitting on the board with a lot of parliamentarians. I appreciate you, ladies. Thank you. I just wanted us to be in order, and we've done that, so I am satisfied. At this time, we will have President remarks. Good afternoon again, all. As we set our sights toward the end of the school year and the excitement of May graduations, I am reminded of what I heard a pilot say just the other day as several of us traveled from San Antonio after attending the National School Board Association Conference, where board members, trustees, and superintendents from across the globe gathered to support public education. Before takeoff, the pilot said, "It may be a bumpy ride as we clear the thick cloud coverings, but once we do, we anticipate a smooth flight." I thought about our district and the turbulence and coverings we encounter in search of a smooth flight path for our students, families, and employees. The pilot was descriptive when speaking about the clouds: thick, bumpy. He even went on to give us the details to ensure we were prepared for what may be. There was no way to go around, so we buckled up and prepared to go through that which set out to hinder a smooth ride. Our goal daily at MPS is to break through thick, bumpy barriers that will allow us smooth access to excellent academic achievement, career technical education, workforce development opportunities, teacher and staff fulfillment, and community support. Every member of this board has studied, watched, governed, and guided alongside our superintendent and his team to continually clear barriers. Our students have so much to be proud of, from doing their very best to excelling, and we are proud of all of you. We know that as we end 2025, 2026, we will continue to go through thick, bumpy barriers that may camouflage the dreams of children, but MPS will prepare for what is ahead and keep ensuring that you will make it through. This board, the superintendent, and the team assigned to your flight will be your escorts. No matter how bumpy the way or the number of barriers ahead, we will not stop until there is a smooth path towards the dreams and aspirations of every student in our care. Thank you for entrusting Montgomery Public Schools for your educational needs, as we look forward to seeing you in 2026-27 for your next flight towards academic excellence. Dr. Bird, do you have any remarks?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Madam President. Good afternoon, Madam President, Vice President, board members, and members of our Montgomery Public Schools family. As always, thank you for your continued leadership and commitment to our students, staff, and families. I want to begin by grounding us into where we are as a district. This year has been focused on listening, learning, and planning. As we move forward, our focus is clear: execution. We're not just talking about change. We are positioning Montgomery Public Schools to compete, to grow, and to lead. Across Alabama, public school systems are facing increased competition from charter schools, private schools, homeschooling, and new legislation such as the CHOOSE Act. But we are not approaching this with concern or hesitation. We see this as an opportunity to embrace change, an opportunity to strengthen our practices, an opportunity to prove that Montgomery Public Schools is not just an option, but the best choice, the only choice for families seeking a high-quality, family-friendly education and the most military-friendly school district in the state of Alabama. Beyond tonight's agenda, I want to briefly highlight the work happening across the district to support this direction. We are working diligently to move several major priorities forward, including finalizing and promoting our key initiatives. These efforts will not only transform how we support students, but also address workforce development needs and create a long-term economic mobility for our families and our community. At the same time, we remain focused on what matters most: student outcomes, strong school support, and operational excellence. Our work around instructional coherence, customer service through our SERVE model, and accountability across all levels of the organization continues to move us forward. Let me be clear. This is not about doing more for the sake of just doing more. This is about doing what is necessary to ensure that Montgomery Public Schools is strong, competitive, and positioned for the future. Board members, I appreciate your flexibility tonight and your continued partnership. The decisions we make now will directly impact our ability to serve students and families at a higher level. We have the momentum. Now it's time to act with urgency and purpose. Thank you all so much again for this great opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Byrd. Now we will have board recognition by Mrs. Rosanna Bruton.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Byrd, and wonderful board members. Tonight, we are recognizing our scholars and staff who are showcasing excellence in MPS. At this time, I welcome you all to join us at the front so that each time I am recognizing those individuals across our district, they can come up and take a photo with you all and be recognized. We are going to first start off with Carson French and Dr. Amy Hinton. Montgomery Public Schools recognizes Carson French, a student at Booker T. Washington Magnet High School, and his teacher, Dr. Amy Hinton, for their achievement in the 2026 C-SPAN Student Cam documentary competition. Carson earned honorable mention for his documentary, When Equality Ends at the Prison Gates, which examines Alabama prison reform and highlights important issues related to justice and equality. We also celebrate Carson's acceptance into the Alabama Governor's School at Samford University. Montgomery Public Schools commends Carson and Dr. Hinton for their accomplishments and for representing the district with such distinction. We had 5 schools awarded the 2026 Metadata Center Community Action Grants. We're going to first start off with Percy Julian High School. We recognize Percy Julian High School for expanding student opportunities in artificial intelligence through this partnership, their partnership with Quant Hub, to strengthen awareness and engagement, The high school will host a 3-part AI Conversations for Learning series for parents, educators, and local business leaders. And again, they were awarded the Meta Data Center Community Action Grant. We welcome them forward. Next, we have Peter Crump Elementary School. With support from this grant, the school will establish a makerspace equipped with coding, robotics, engineering, and digital arts resources. This initiative will integrate STEAM into daily instruction through project-based learning that builds creativity, problem solving, and digital literacy. Next, we have Brubaker Primary School. The mission of their project is to expand and strengthen their K-2 STEAM program to intentionally develop creativity, collaboration, communication, and persistence, ensuring students are well prepared for upper grades, robotics opportunities, and future STEM career pathways. Montgomery Preparatory Academy for Career Technology, they will plan to host a week-long summer camp to introduce participants to non-destructive combat robotics, covering the full life cycle from initial design and construction to competitive engagement. The curriculum will integrate 3D printing for custom component fabrication. Wilson Elementary School. This grant will be used to purchase beam projector, which turns any floor into an interactive floor. It comes with educational games to bring learning to life. I don't think they were able to make it this evening, but let's give them a round of applause. All right, we have sports now. Floyd Middle School Soccer Champions. Montgomery Public Schools recognizes Floyd Middle School for winning the Middle School Soccer Championship against Brubaker Middle School in a competitive 2-1 match. Both teams demonstrated strong sportsmanship, effort, and teamwork throughout the game. Johnny Carr Middle School Tennis Champions. The boys team completed the season undefeated, while the girls team won 6 of the 7 matches. Both teams earned the season and city championships, and individual honors include Ethan James as the boys' most valuable player and Heath Agarish as the girls' most valuable player and citywide most outstanding player for the season. Ethan was not able to make it tonight, but we have James Carter with us. And we commend Coach Hampton and the student athletes for excellence, discipline, and championship performance. you so much. At this time, we would like to recognize Noah Hollinger, a junior at BTW Magnet. He was selected as one of 16 students to participate in the DREAM Initiative. He was able to take part in Marching On Montgomery to Washington, D.C. It's an immersive experience where they are able to take college tours, meet public and private sector leaders, and learn so much more. Montgomery Public Schools recognizes Merlis Gilbert, a physical education teacher at South Lawn Elementary School, for being named a Class Act teacher by WSFA 12 News. He was not able to make it this evening, but their principal is present. He is actually the 5th MPS educator to receive this honor this school year, reflecting the continued excellence of teachers across the district. He is a Montgomery native and Carver High School graduate, and he is in his 8th year with MPS and is known for building strong relationships with students while promoting teamwork, discipline, and personal responsibility through physical education. Montgomery Public Schools recognizes Counselor Curtis Jackson of Percy Julian High School for his exceptional commitment to student well-being. When a student's family experienced a house fire and was left without housing, Counselor Jackson acted quickly to connect them with support services. Through his advocacy, the family received emergency assistance and has since secured stable housing. He also personally provided essential items to support the student during that time, ensuring they could return to school with dignity. Montgomery Public Schools commends Counselor Jackson for his compassion, leadership, and dedication for supporting students and families in times of need. I don't believe he was able to make it this evening, but if we can give him a round of applause. We are done with our recognitions, but I do want to make sure everybody is aware that this month, April, is Month of the Military Child. We recognize that military kids serve our country too as part of a military family, not just in April, but all year long. These amazing kids face challenges and enjoy triumphs along the way. And while no military child's journey is the same, they each have a thorough line that connects them by experience globally. And last but not least, we have our job fair. MPS is hiring. Join us on Wednesday, April 29th at the Multiplex over at Crampton Bowl from 9 to 1. We are hiring teachers, nurses, CMP, bus drivers, aides, security, and so much more. You don't want to miss it.
Thank you, Ms. Bruton. What a fine job she does. And thank you to all of those who came out to support children, teachers, schools. We certainly do appreciate it. At this time, we will have our scheduled comments. We have Ms. Phaedra Carson Foster, Protecting Our Children, Confronting the Dangers of Vaping. Before she comes, I will read the rules of the night or public comments. Requests must be made in advance in writing to Superintendent's office by 4:30 p.m. on the Tuesday preceding the meeting date. Requests must have specified the nature of the business to be taken up with the board and the name of the person who will address the board to be added to the agenda. Communications must be respectful. Discussing specific student or employee matters will not be allowed. Individuals who have concerns that are inappropriate to be solved in this venue are welcome to seek a problem-solving meeting with the superintendent. Immediate feedback by the board may not be provided. However, you may be contacted for follow-up by the superintendent or designee. Public comments may not exceed 3 minutes. The board chairman has full authority to terminate the remarks of any person whose comments contain personal attacks, exceed the time limit, or are otherwise inappropriate. A speaker may be considered disruptive who continues to speak when their allotted time has ended, when asked to stop speaking by the board chairman, or is otherwise inappropriate. If a person fails to comply when asked to terminate comments, he or she will be escorted to their seat, out of the auditorium, or off of MPS property, depending on the level of disruption. Thank you, Ms. Foster, for joining us, and your time will start now.
Earlier this year, the council was honored to receive a Vape-Free Futures Challenge grant through the National PTA, supported by the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. As part of this grant, recipients participate in training with national partners, and one of the issues we recently learned more about is the rise of the so-called smart vape. Smart vapes often include digital screens, Bluetooth capability, animated displays, speakers, and other features that make them look and function more like benign gadgets than nicotine delivery devices. And that is what makes this moment especially serious. We are no longer dealing only with a harmful and addictive product. We are dealing with a harmful and addictive product that is being redesigned to appeal to children and to slip past adult supervision. Some of these devices include games and interactive features. In some cases, users have to take puffs to keep the game going. Some also have a boost mode that delivers bigger puffs and more nicotine. This is what makes these devices especially dangerous. They combine nicotine addiction with the pull of entertainment and technology. This is predatory on an entirely different level. However, I want to come back to the fact that some smart vapes also include Bluetooth capability. This means that smart vapes can also function as a workaround phone restrictions, the other device that families in schools are already struggling to manage. That fact should concern every parent, educator, and policymaker. What can we do? The Council PTA will host Clearing the Air, a Montgomery Town Hall on vaping, what families need to know about the dangers and the law, Thursday, April 23rd at 6:00 p.m. in this auditorium. We are grateful to Assistant Superintendent Dr. Williamson with Student Support Services for her work with us so far, and we respectfully ask for the board's help in attending, promoting, and supporting this effort. This is a chance for Montgomery to lead with awareness, partnership, and action. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good information. At this time, we will move to financial statement presented by Ms. Watkins. Mrs. Watkins.
Good evening, Dr. Bird, Board President Portis, board members. You should have before you the financials for the month of February. February represents the 5th month of the fiscal year. Included in your packet is an explanation of the financial data, which explains the CSFO's information for the fiscal year through the month of February. Should also have a snapshot analysis, which we will focus on, general fund balance recap, the monthly budget percentages. Because it's the 5th month, I look for the expenditures to be approximately 42%. You'll also have a monthly and annual comparative statement of revenues and expenditures, which looks at our revenues from the prior year as compared to the current fiscal year. A statement of cash flow, which recognizes our revenues and our expenditures for the current month. And then you also have a visual of that in the form of a pie chart. The F exhibits, which represents our information from this, that we upload to the State Department, and all of that information ties back to the reports that you have that I prepare separately. I'm going to flip to the snapshot analysis. Sorry. On the snapshot analysis, okay, there it goes. You'll notice the local revenues that have come in as of fiscal year 2026. You'll see that the revenues are a little bit less than they were at the same point in time last year. Please note that, as I usually state, that those revenues fluctuate from month to month. One of the things that I do look at is to see how we're trending year to date. So although those revenues are a little bit less in the month of February, our actual year-to-date revenues that have, our local revenues that have been received at the point in time of this report, the variance is only about $800,000. So that's my indication that the revenues fluctuate from month to month. Some months may be higher than they were last year at the same time and a little bit lower as we see in the month of February. You also see the total payroll expenditures, and then you also notice our general fund balance for the month of February. It's a little bit higher than last year, but one of the things I do want to note is that the general fund balance, the grand majority of that is represented by our local revenues. And as of February, we have received 73% of our local revenues because the majority of those revenues come in December, January, and February. So that means revenues will start to drop drastically off from the month of March through the end of the fiscal year. So these funds are here to carry us through the remainder of the fiscal year. And that is all I have for today.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for Ms. Watkins? Thank you. Very good. Now, under our consent agenda items, we will have the February 2026 financial statement. We will have March 10th, the revised regular business meeting minutes, March 10th revised work session minutes, and job descriptions for 21st century coordinator, site facilitator, 21st century project director, and extended day teacher, and also CMP purchasing controller. Those items are listed on the consent agenda. May I have a motion to consider those items? Oh, I done became the superintendent. I'm so sorry. Dr. Baird, will you please?
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. Thank you. Superintendent requests your approval of action items F, G, and H.
Madam President, I move that we approve items F, G, and H.
I second.
It has been moved in second. The motion has been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no or hearing no discussion, may I see a show of hands of all those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Consider for approval, item 14, Dr. Byrd.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Superintendent requests your approval of action item A, 14A, personnel report, certified personnel.
Madam President, I move we accept the superintendent's recommendation to accept the personnel report, certified personnel.
I second it.
Thank you. It has been moved and second to accept the superintendent's recommendation to accept personnel reports, certified personnel. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, may I see a show of hands of all of those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Dr. Byrd.
Thank you. Superintendent requests your approval of action item 14B, personnel report, classified personnel.
Madam President, I move that we accept item 14B.
I second it.
Thank you. It has been moved and second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for personnel report, classified personnel. Any discussion on that item? Hearing or seeing no discussion, may I see a show of hands of all of those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Dr. Byrd.
Thank you. Superintendent requests your approval of action item 14C, part-time supplemental personnel minutes.
Madam President, I move that we approve item 14C.
I second.
It has been moved and second to accept the superintendent's recommendation for part-time supplemental personnel minutes. Any discussion? Hearing or seeing no discussion, may I see a show of hands of all of those in favor? It is unanimous. Once again, we have concluded the business of Montgomery Public Schools on this, the 14th of April, 2026. This meeting is adjourned. Better run. The work session for April 14th, 2026 is now called to order. Establishment of a quorum is still present. May I have the motion to approve the agenda as printed, as revised?
Madam Chair, since there's been some revisions, we need to address those before we approve the agenda. The things that we moved from the regular meeting to the work session.
Madam President, because you guys have already moved those agenda items from the regular board session, that was a separate meeting. And so now during this meeting, you would need to take a motion to amend the agenda, the work session agenda, to include those items that you guys wish to discuss during the work session.
Approval of agenda. We will need a motion, as our attorney stated, to amend the agenda
For the work session.
for the work session.
For items 9, 10, 11, and then 13, F, no, wait, 13.
So, Madam President, you would need a motion, to amend the agenda to add under receive as information, non-resident enrollment policy, virtual school program expansion contract, virtual school program expansion policy, staff conduct policy, and social media policy.
So are we amending per the item, or are you saying the title?
Amend them per the title, because that item was reflected for the regular board meeting. So you would amend it per the title.
And C, D, and E on the next page. Those were moved also.
Yes, that was the enrollment policy, the K-12 Learning Academy contract, as well as the virtual school policy. So you would refer to the amendment, refer to the amendment by title.
Can I make the amendment, or does a board member need to make?
You can request a motion for those agenda items.
Thank you. May I request a motion, Dr. Coleman?
Thank you. Madam Chair. I move to amend our work session agenda to add non-resident enrollment policy, virtual school program expansion, virtual school policy update, staff conduct policy, and social media policy.
I would, non-residential enrollment policy, K-12 learning academic contract.
That's already, when I did, those items were just named.
Very good. We have heard the amendment. The motion has been made. May I hear a second?
A second.
The motion has been made and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing no discussion, may I see a show of hands of all of those that are in favor of amending the agenda as just stated? It is unanimous. Thank you so much. We will now receive his information from Volker. Pate is there he is. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Byrd, members of the board. It's my honor to give you the April update for the capital improvement program. I did get notified from IT right before I came up that the video included on my PowerPoint had some technical issues. So I'm not sure if that's going to work for us. I tried resending it. I'm not sure if I had any luck with it, but there is pictures included, so. And if the video doesn't work, I'd be happy to share it with Leslie to provide for you guys. Jumping right into Percy Julian High School. We're at about 28% complete, which is a big milestone, hitting that quarter of the way through. All of the first floor slab on grades will be poured by the end of this month, which is another major milestone. All of the second floor slabs are officially poured out. Go ahead, sorry. That's where the video should be. CMU wall installation is ongoing. Areas A, C, and B coming down the first and second floor. Metal stud walls are going in as well. A lot of the mechanical, electrical rough-in is being done in those areas. The structural steel in areas A and C on the second floor going on, which is going to allow us to get the roof deck on, hopefully get the building dried in as soon as possible there, and exterior sheathing installations going around. So you'll see the building starting to get closed in and allowing mechanical work to go on overhead. These are photos of Area D at the kitchen and cafeteria. You can see the slabs have been poured there. We're going vertical with steel. Here's the exterior sheathing I just mentioned, closing in the building around the front, wrapping around on the exterior metal stud walls. Slab on grades. To your left is the kitchen cafeteria area where you see the steel. To the right is progressing into your gym and athletic areas, your competition practice gym, and your auditorium slabs. You see the CMU block and door frames are being installed there as well. Jumping into Capitol Heights Middle School, we had a successful bid opening last month, came in under budget. So we had started the contracting process. There was a hiccup, clerical error on the contract in DocuSign, so we kind of had to back up. We were hoping to have that contract executed for this board meeting. Because of that error, we actually had to revise some things, and it's still in DocuSign. Hopefully have that back fully executed for you guys by the end of the week. But I think I mentioned this last meeting, the low bid general contractor was Russell Construction, which is minority-owned local business. As I mentioned, the contract status is still in DocuSign. We have a letter of intent to the contractor. We actually had a kickoff meeting yesterday with the architect, design team, the general contractor, us and Mr. Anderson, and kind of got the project started there without the contract, which is typical. We've done it before. So the project submittal process, RFI process is ongoing. We just have not broke ground yet. Like I said, due to that contract not being fully executed, we didn't want to include that number in our minority reporting for this month. So by next month, it will be there, and that total participation of MBDB will jump up substantially. And I just wanted to mention that we did have the CTE field trip planned. We had the contractor actually request MPS students and parents sign a waiver for insurance and liability purposes. Last update I heard on that was your legal team was still reviewing that document. So we did postpone that field trip to a later date. It's yet to be determined. And then I have been talking with Principal Reese about a groundbreaking ceremony, and we'll keep you guys in the loop on a date that works for everybody, hopefully.
Very good, thank you. Are there any questions for Peyton? You did good. Dr. Keith has no questions for you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
All right, facilities update, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Dr. Byrd, Ms. Portis, Ms. Watkins-Smith, and members of the board. Looking at our capital project spreadsheet, Davis Elementary, the ceiling grid has been placed in the first phase. I actually went by yesterday, and they have closed in all the windows, so our mechanical is being brought online. So we'll start having that space conditioned in the first phase, which if you've been by there, it's the first side of the building on the north side of the building there, right where the teachers park. So they've done a pretty good chunk while waiting for the summer to get here, and they plan to ramp up and try to complete the majority of that job this summer. The Carver High School turf and track replacement, the rubber was delivered. They've done some of the cleanup around it, and they've started the rubber surface of the track there. That's going to be about a 2 to 3 week process to complete that track surface, paint it, put the lines on, and get it in place. Forest Avenue and South Lawn, they're mobilizing for that. We have contracts signed. We have the requisitions, purchase orders issued, so we're waiting on that. They're kind of waiting at this point because of a lot of the testing that's going on in the elementary schools. Didn't really want to interrupt that part of this, and trying to wait for more of the summertime to really push ahead on those 2 roof replacements. The JAG athletic improvements, the demolition is now complete. They finished that last week, late last week. They've started doing a lot of the underground work. You basically had to redo all of the underground because of the storm drains there were silted in from just many, many years of debris going through there. So we're redoing all of that underneath there, and we've made arrangements with the sports teams there. Mr. Ruffin has been working with the athletic director to make sure that we can kind of proceed on with any kind of summer work, working with those sports, and we're trying to get the football field and all back online for fall practice so that they'll be able to continue there. If not, we've got an arrangement that we'll have to work towards it if needed at that time. The Danley Elementary HVAC renovation, a little bit slower pace than what's going on at Davis right now. We've only been able to use 4 classrooms to start that process, so they're working on those 4 classrooms. This is also the group that, like I've mentioned before, that completed Morning View, so they're going to really ramp up when we get to the summer like they did at Morning View and try to complete that job at that time. We've been working on some of the portables in the back just to have ready if we go into next fall and need to be able to transition some of the classes to finish up if we get into the fall time. The JAG painting and flooring project is underway. We held a pre-construction meeting last week. They've been working on some of the just basics of that, getting some of the samples put down and starting to work on some of the base around the edge of the flooring and get those things online. The Goodwin painting and flooring project, we're going to look to bring that. That was part of the JAG bid that we did. We held off on approving it to make sure that we had the funding for that. We do have the funding for it, so we'll be looking to bring that to you at the next board meeting for approval. The JAG elevator renovation, they're fast and furious underway on that. We met with the electrical engineer last week and finishing up some of the details for the fire alarm. Those elevators are tied into the fire alarm, so we have to make sure that we update that in the school while we're there. So we're looking at doing the entire existing, the older part of the building, the original part of the building, with a fire alarm system that's monitored so that if we have anything after hours, like we did right across the street, will be alerted to that, and authorities will be alerted to that, so we don't lose a building like we did many years ago. And then the JAG Field House, we've been granted approval to begin working on finishing the design on that. We'll look to bid that towards the end of the summer as we're hopefully finishing the field part of the project, and kind of slide right into that as we're wrapping that one up. This will complete all of our traditional schools that we've done the field houses and turf and track on. It'll help complete that piece of that phase for equitable purposes. Questions?
Very good. Any questions? Okay, Mr. Anderson, if you would stay with us and give us the job description for Director of Transportation.
Yes, ma'am. The Director of Transportation job description is carrying on with Dr. Ford's HR movement of updating our language in the job descriptions. This job description is about 30 years old, so we wanted to make sure we add in the language for things like Traversa and the more technological piece that goes into the transportation. It's on the same salary schedule, nothing's changing with that. It's just an update of the language in the job description so that in the event the next Director of Transportation, we can make sure that we are recruiting someone that understands that software and the things that go into the technology piece of it now in today's time.
Very good. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Ms. Jackson, Lean Frog Digital LLC.
Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good
Madam
evening.
Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Byrd. I am presenting the proposed subscription agreement for K-12 Bloombucks, which is a digital reward system for improving behavior and attendance for students who have a behavior intervention plan in our district. So what is K-12 Bloombucks? It is a digital incentive system designed to support student behavioral, social, and academic success through positive reinforcement strategies aligned to PBIS practices. The platform provides staff with tools to create and manage student rewards, monitor engagement through dashboards, and recognize progress through structured incentives and sweepstakes. This subscription also includes the Outstanding Attendance module, which supports student attendance engagement by providing ongoing visibility and incentive opportunities tied to attendance expectations established by the district. Each student who receives 0 unexcused absences each month is entered into a monthly drawing or an attendance sweepstakes. The winning students receive Bloombucks awards totaling up to $100 per month per school. The goals for this project is to increase attendance for students with behavior intervention plans by 10%, and also to decrease the number of behavioral incidents for students with behavior intervention plans by at least 25%. The key functionalities, the ability for teachers and staff to create personalized student quests for participating BIP students. These quests reward students with Bloombucks directly for each quest completed, in addition to receiving entries into the school's monthly performance drawing. Each intervention student can be awarded up to $50 worth of Bloombucks annually to be utilized in the digital platform. Outstanding Attendance module promotes student attendance by providing 4 drawings per month to reward students with outstanding attendance. Access to Bloombucks digital store to spend earned Bloombucks, purchased directly from K-12 Bloom. And for those students that are younger than 13 years of age, their parents would have to approve the purchases. And there's a good part about it that this is integrated with Power Schools SIS for the student and teacher rosters. All right, we have an implementation timeline. This is an 18-month proposal, beginning with June 1st, 2026, ending December 31st, 2027. And you can see the implementation and support timelines. What will happen in the second semester support window, June 1st through August 31st, and that deals with activating the platform, also building in our baseline data for our behavior incidents as well as the attendance. I do have it through as of today, but we're going to actually build our baseline based on the end of school, the last day of school. August 26 through May 2027, that is the full support window. Teachers will have ongoing coaching so that they can effectively utilize the system. PBIS and MTSS implementation coaching will occur to strengthen consistency and fidelity. And then we also have some optional district-directed training on functional behavior assessments and behavior intervention program training, root cause analysis, and individualized intervention planning. The summer-winter 2027 timeframe for continuation sustainability period. Sustainability and continuation planning during the summer. We will review the engagement trends and outcomes of this 18-month project. And prior to the school year program, we're going to review and discuss with district leadership if this is something we're going to continue and also expand to the entire district. So this platform activation will be through December of 2027. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment. I think, we've been looking for incentives, and this is a start. And I think it's a good, I think the name of it's cute, Bloom Bucks. I think the age that you're targeting is good. The only question is, I know you're special ed, so is this just for the special ed, the ones that are not included in that? I'm not putting it down. Like I said, it's
Well,
just start.
it's actually for students who have a behavior intervention plan. We do have students that are 504 and general ed students who are included in having those plans as well. So this doesn't just have to be for special education. When we look at the number of licenses, we have enough leeway to include all students that have a behavior intervention plan.
I guess what I'm not concerned with, I think, I'm on that committee for chronic absenteeism.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it, the more students that you're engaging, the better our chronic if they buy into this incentive of even being in a drawing, I think it's just something that could help us. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
On a large
Yes, ma'am.
level. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just another comment. I was just curious, what type of items would they be able to purchase with the Bloom Bucks? And I know it's fulfilled through Amazon, which is
Yeah.
a lot better than that star that gold star I used to work for
Yes, ma'am.
back in the day.
Yes, ma'am. The digital store for Bloom Bucks, they have selected items that are age appropriate for each level, elementary, middle, and high school. And it is kid friendly. It is PG items and things that would be educational as well as interesting to those different age groups.
Okay, just curious.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Great program.
Thank you.
It's almost like you're doing a sub-financial, like those Bloom Bucks are actually not money, but it's actually they're banking that, and if they're holding out, if they want something bigger, that's teaching literacy on how to wait for things and get what they really want. That's teaching that literacy of being financially aware.
Absolutely, that's correct. You're correct, and we know a lot of times attendance problems come with behavior begets attendance problems, so that's why we wanted to target this population Originally, we were going to fund this through our monies from the RAISE Act. However, I did get some good news from Dr. Byrd that Representative Tashina Morris with the state legislator is going to fund it through a grant. So I'm really excited about that. Are there any other questions?
One more,
Yes, ma'am.
like Ms. Cloud said, if they save their money, will there be big gifts to buy?
Well, I spoke with Dr. Combs last week about that, and they may add some additional big ticket items such as bicycles and skateboards and things of that nature. We're kind of really streamlining and building this project that is going to be specific for MPS. We talked about how it was used in other school districts, but I talked to him about making sure that we tailor it for the needs of our students and things that are going to be interesting to them.
One more question.
Wonderful program. I remember something similar back in the day, but it was no Amazon online, so that's refreshing. I did want to, just out of curiosity, what's our attendance rate for our students, our SPED students as of now, just to get a general idea?
Right now, we have the data that we pulled. We looked at students who, in this bracket, who have behavior intervention plans, the number of students who had 0 to 4 absences, 129, students with 5 to 9 absences, 80, students with 10 to 14 absences, 66, 15 to 29 absences, 102, number of students with 30 to 49 absences, 38, 50 to 69 absences, 17, and then ones who have 70 or more, 8 of that population.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All grades. All grades, we have it, and I can share this information with the superintendent to be able to forward to you if that's appropriate. It has it broken down by age, school, and exceptionality.
That's good. I think that may be beneficial too, for the board members. They may want to add something to assist. So, Dr. Byrd, if you approve, if she'll share that, we'll be glad to have it in a connection. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now we have a suite of information. Textbook adoption and supplemental resource renewal. I see Dr. Dowdy first.
Superintendent Byrd, Madam President, distinguished board members, I am Dr. Dowdy, Elmira ELA and Social Studies Specialist. This evening, I am requesting approval for additional ELA instructional materials that will aid us through the remainder of our adoption cycle. And I will also present for your approval the selected K-12 Social Studies curriculum as we move into a new Social Studies adoption cycle scheduled for the implementation for the 2026-2027 school term. So we'll begin with ELA. First and foremost, open court. As you know, open court is K-5. We are asking for additional student textbooks and handwriting books. This ensures that the students have consistent and equitable access to ELA instructional materials that support literacy development, and also extra textbooks for classroom use, small group instruction, and the handwriting book supports letter formation, writing fluency, and foundational writing skills, and it also aids us with the Lexi's Law handwriting assessment as well. We just completed a 2-year contract with the handwriting workbooks. So we are in need of another 2-year contract so we can finish out the cycle with our handwriting as well. Why it is needed? Additional ELA textbooks are needed because the students are not damaging the books, but the books are worn. This particular textbook is used every day in the classroom with the basal. It's the basal reader, and it's used every day within the classroom. So most of the books are very worn as I go through the buildings, and I'm just noticing that the teachers are working hard and diligently with the students with these books. So we just want to make sure that they do have books in the classrooms to get us through the remainder of the cycle. Okay, so what we're asking for is student anthology textbooks, 400 per grade level, and also handwriting books that will be a 2-year supply. That will equal up to $405,022. Now we're moving on to Spire. We're asking for additional student textbooks and additional student textbooks and teacher kits. With Spire, as you know, Spire is the state-approved intervention program that we use for Tier 3 instruction with our K-5 reading babies. With this being said, Spire materials provide structured, systematic instruction in reading and phonics, allowing teachers to develop targeted support to students who need that extra help. And it also helps us to utilize MTSS process as well, because it helps us to monitor progress and address the student, individual student needs. Also, this is a state-required resource. Spire has been selected by Alabama State Department of Education as this required resource for implementing the Alabama Literacy Act, ensuring schools meet state literacy standards in regards to intervention and instructional practices. What we're asking for specifically, additional level 1 teacher kits. These are needed to provide teachers with the complete set of instructional materials for delivering structured, systematic reading lessons for struggling readers, and additional Sound Sensible kits. Sound Sensible is used by our kindergarten and first grade teachers, and these are needed to equip the teachers with resources for explicit phonics and decoding instruction, supporting small group interventions, and reinforcing foundational reading skills. These kits ensure that all teachers have the materials required to effectively implement ELA interventions, support the MTSS process, and meet the Alabama Literacy Act requirements. For the Sound Sensible teacher kits with the digital platform, we're asking for 50 kits, and we're also asking for 112 level 1 teacher sets in the digital platform, which comes up to $69,323.98. Any questions in regards to the ELA purchases?
Hearing no questions, thank you so much, Dr. Dowdy.
Okay, now we'll move on to our
I'm
social
sorry.
studies textbook adoption for K-12. This has been a very tedious process, but it's been also an exciting process as we've been able to work with a lot of the teachers in the district and a lot of the leaders in the district as well for the past few months. With this being said, starting with K-5 social studies curriculum, Gallopade was the chosen curriculum. This has been a 5-month process where the K-5 social studies textbook committee has met with multiple vendors to review and evaluate the curriculum options. The goal was to select a comprehensive K-5 social studies curriculum that was fully aligned to state standards and support literacy development, which was very important to us to make sure that those literacy standards are covered within our social studies curriculum. This curriculum will be recognized as Tier 1 instruction, and after careful review, discussion, and scoring, the committee selected again Gallopade for our 6-year adoption, which come with 24/7 professional development in person, as well as online, as well as office hours. So we received multiple professional development opportunities for the next 6 years. No cap on it. So we receive as much as we need for our district. Moving on to, So with the K-5 teacher print and digital bundles, K-5 student print and digital bundles, and ongoing professional development for the 6-year adoption is $1,652,840.91. Moving on to our 612 social studies. With our 612 social studies, the committee selected a balanced portfolio of vendors to ensure that high-quality, standards-aligned resources across all grade levels and courses, including both core and advanced placement offerings. The adoption prioritizes alignment with the Alabama Course of Study, coherence, rigor, and college readiness for all students. With that being said, with our secondary social studies quotes, we have 4 vendors that were chosen by the committee. We have to choose multiple vendors to ensure that we are covering every course within social studies. As you know, one vendor alone does not cover all of the subject areas within the area of history. So we have to make sure that we went through all of the different vendors to make sure that all of our courses are fully equipped and aligned. That came up to $2,903,733.40. And again, this covers all of our AP classes, our general ed classes as well, and some of our electives that fall under social studies. So in total, with K-12 in all, we're asking for $4,556,574.31. Any questions in regards to our social studies adoption?
Oh, Dr. Dowdy, I want to say, first of all, I love reading the connections when you're in them, because you connect everything seamlessly. So I'm so appreciative of what you've done, especially with the history and in combining the reading component in it. So just thank you, and like, I really enjoy reading your work.
Anytime.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay.
I do. I'm seeing in total, just for social studies alone, right?
Yes.
This is K through 12,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? That 4.5 million is the same 4.5 million that our county commission is trying to take from us. That our county commission has put up people to run against board members up here that are trying to save our children, those 4.5 million.
Right.
So what I want the county commission and anybody hearing is, if it is not approved, it's because we have people that are playing personal games with the board because we didn't follow their agenda. And they threatened us to take money. It's in the 1819 news. And when they do take it, they need to know exactly what some of their politicians are doing in this city that are Republican. Thank you.
And I totally understand, and I'm ready to fight tooth and nail to make sure that we do receive that 4.5 million for our social studies program and reading. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Daddy. Ms. Natalie McKnight, Fine Arts, K-12 textbook adoption.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Byrd, and members of the board. I am coming to present to you the Fine Arts textbook adoption. This year, we have gotten new standards for the fine arts, which encompasses 7 different disciplines. So when you see all the different lists and everything, you'll know that there's 7 different disciplines involved in this. And so we met as a group. The proposal that I bring to you today is a presentation of the K through 12 Fine Arts textbook plan. This plan is centered on the vision to engage, educate, and inspire every student across our district. This proposal is not simply about purchasing instructional materials. It is about ensuring equitable access to high-quality arts education in every school for every student. Through this adoption, we have established a unified standard-based approach to teaching and learning across dance, music, theater, and visual arts. And you can see the benefits, the rationale for dance and music on the slide, but you can see it for teachers and students as well. For our teachers, these resources provide structured, sequential instruction aligned to state standards, along with embedded assessments, culturally responsive content, and tools to support differentiation. This ensures consistency and strength instructional practices across the classroom. For our students, the impact is transformational. Students will not only build technical skills, but also develop creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and self-expression. These programs connect learning to real-world experiences and future opportunities in the arts and beyond. And so you can see up on the screen, this is for theater and visual arts, the rationale for each of them.
As we went in, each of our members, we met and we reviewed multiple different vendors. It was many, many vendors, many books. And so we came up with different ones. In dance, Human Kinetics provides a strong foundation of movement, choreography, and cultural understanding while preparing students for advanced study and career paths. And that would be for K through 12. When it comes to music, we spanned band, choir, strings, guitar, piano, and elementary music. We found two vendors or two textbooks for this. For secondary and for band, choir, strings, guitar, and piano was Make Music Cloud. It supports all of them through an extensive music library, sight reading tools, and professional development that is 24/7, along with on demand as well. Because again, textbooks is not just the book that's in front of the students. It's the music that the kids use. It's the copyrights. It's all of that. All of this would be included for our students and our teachers. When it comes to Quaver music, it also ensures consistent and engaging instruction that builds that foundational musical skills. And by having Quaver in all of our elementary musics, we will know that the foundational aspect of music with our students is consistent across all schools. In theater, One Stop Drama Shop equips our elementary teachers with flexibility, ready-to-use materials, scripts, all of that gauged towards their age group. For secondary, Theater Folks supports our secondary programs with comprehensive curriculum, rights, resources, unlimited printing, and professional learning opportunities for teachers in their specific fields. In visual arts, Arts of Education delivers rigorous, student-centered instruction that connects historical and contemporary practices while embedding professional development directly within the platform. Together, these resources ensure consistency, rigor, and equity across all the schools in our district. They also strengthen school culture by expanding opportunities for performances in and outside of school, exhibitions in and outside of school, and collaboration with artists throughout the entire country. This proposal represents a 6-year investment in our students and in our teachers, and in the fine arts of education in Montgomery Public Schools, with building professional development and ongoing support, and ensures longevity. Right now, for the proposal that we have, everything is a 6-year contract, and for a total, we are looking at $1,200,666.33. Sorry, and everything would be a quote one at a time, and we would have it spanned out between the 6 years. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, do the math. And ready math quote, Mrs. Mays.
Special greetings to Superintendent Dr. Byrd, Madam President, and the distinguished board members. My name is Katura Mays. I serve as the K-5 Science and STEM Specialist and the interim K-5 Math Specialist. I am here this evening to respectfully request your approval for additional math resources to support our high-quality teaching and learning across our elementary schools. So I want to begin with our rationale for purchase with Ready Math. According to the Alabama Numeracy Act, elementary schools identified for limited or full support are required to implement a high-quality, evidence-based, comprehensive mathematics curriculum for Tier 1 instruction. The Office of Mathematic Improvement, OMI, has approved Ready Math for our usage in our classrooms. The standard alignment says that Ready Math is linked to our standards and that it is the best fit for our students. It is a data-driven approach. So what is needed? Ready Math, I will say, is not the same thing as iReady. iReady is the diagnostic program, so just in case there was confusion there, but Ready Math is the actual math curriculum, and we are in need of additional K-5 math workbooks, the built-in assessments and data tools that come with that program, ongoing teacher professional development, and resources to support instruction and engagement. Why is it needed? So that we can have consistent implementation, standard aligned instruction, deep mathematical understanding, data-driven instruction, instructional quality across all of our classrooms, and increase for our English learners and improving our student engagement and achievement. So our proposed quote for the consumables, which equals up to 14,876 students, professional development and the partner services is $450,732.25. Are there any questions about Ready Math?
Thank you so much.
All right, now moving on to our Do the Math. So Ready Math is all about Tier 1, Do the Math is all about Tier 2 and Tier 3. All right, so our rationale for our purchase, again, going back to our Alabama Numeracy Act, we have to make sure that we have evidence-based interventions for students with significant math deficiencies. Research-based intervention. So Do the Math is not only MTSS aligned, but it is also research-based. This program is going to strengthen numerical reasoning and ensure effective intervention by using structured modules, ongoing assessments, and teacher support. The focus is on student achievement. Implementing Do the Math provides a comprehensive, aligned system of support that closes learning gaps. The students are very excited about it. It's lots of buy-in. So also, not only is it student achievement, but it's also student engagement with this program. So what is needed and why? Consumable workbooks for targeted practice, digital assessments and data tools, ongoing teacher professional development, and resources to support instruction and engagement. I also want to note that the resources that we are asking for covers a lot of domains. So it covers the addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, fractions, and all of those things. And geometry will be embedded. So why is it needed? To deliver consistent, standard aligned instruction, build deep mathematical understanding, enable data-driven differentiation, and strengthen instructional quality and student engagement. So the proposed quote has a lot of things that are encompassed here. We have our student workbooks, teacher work cases, teacher book cases, and also student materials. So that total is $540,148.44. The professional development is separate with a different company. It is $293,687. That company does work with Do the Math, so they are in a combined. The reason that that professional development is a different service is because they also they adhere to our Tier 2 and Tier 3, which is very needed in our district for our Tier 2 resources, because Tier 2 is where the data moves. Overall, we will have $833,000, $835.44. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for that. This will address K-12, because I heard you mention geometry, that's why.
It addresses K-5. So it does address K-12 because we'll get them prepared for middle school and high school better, but it addresses our K-5 students.
Okay, I heard geometry and I was like, and I kept flipping back like, I see K-5. Okay.
One more question. Now, are they taking these home at all, or
No,
what is it?
they are not taking them home. They have options where they can use them at home. That's the digital component part of it. And they can do games and all of that at home. They actually have digital manipulatives that they can use at home, but they are in class just because it's so many moving parts. Some of them also do walk to math, like they do walk to read, so they may have different teachers, so that's why they're not going home, just so they can stay where they need to stay.
Very good. Thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And this one may be geared more so towards the superintendent, because I was listening and I was hearing program, and I was like, our kids spend a lot of time on computers. And I know that they have other things they're using. So will this replace something that we're already using? Or will this be addition to?
Okay, so just to recap, our Ready Math is our Tier 1 instruction, and Do the Math is going to cover Tier 2 and Tier 3. So they're going to get those added components that they don't get a chance to get in the 60-minute math block. They're going to get those additional components for the extra 20 minutes and 30 minutes, and it is very hands-on. It comes with the books, so it takes them off of the computer screens. It comes with the books, and they have a lot of manipulatives and the students are so engaged. The students that don't honestly need the tier 2 and tier 3 instruction actually want to go to do math because they think it's just fun and games. They don't realize they're actually learning. So it feeds the whole child, so to speak.
All right, thank you for that.
So we're really being conscientious and focused on what we're gonna use this, and this is what we're gonna have. And across the board, this is what each one of our elementary schools will be using. So if they transfer to another school, they're right there where they are. So this is intentional learning taking place.
Yes, ma'am. And when they are enrolled in the Do the Math for that Tier 3 instruction, these are also tied to their MTSS plans. So it's outlined in their plans, and their plans follow them if they do have to transfer from school to school, as well as it is very aligned. It's throughout the district. Every elementary school is using Do the Math. Even our charter schools are using Do the Math.
So these teachers will be using this, and there won't be this being used, and we're trying to really look at focused on how the student achievement is going.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I just clarified this. I know you said the books are going to stay there, but part of it you said was workbooks. So are the workbooks being, I mean, I'm not understanding if the workbooks are used, it can't be used from year to year. Do you see what I'm saying? And would the workbook transfer with the kid? And I was just thinking about it with your question. Are you going to continue ordering workbooks?
Well, the
Every
workbooks
year?
are consumable, so they will need to be used every year.
I had, oh, these are, I know you said the tiers. How does a child that does not need either, what are we doing for our children that are advanced?
Glad you asked. So while the students that are engaged with their Tier 3 or Tier 2 instruction with the teacher, they're also engaged in different stations that may be independent or partner work. Some of those stations could be standard aligned games. It could be a problem that they're working on, a type of task, or it could be a project-based learning experience, but they are working on different things. And myself, as well as the school-based math coaches, have systems in place and professional development opportunities to make sure that the teachers know how to keep every student engaged during this time.
So if there is an advanced student,
Mhm.
we have a curriculum and standards that we're working with those children, just as we are working with the ones with MTSS.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much. All right. Learning.com quote. Me?
Good evening, Madam President, Superintendent Byrd, members of the board. I'm Sydney Sneed. I'm the Education Technology Coordinator here for the district, and I'm here to present the renewal for the Learning.com for our K-5 technology classes. Main reason we have this program is to ensure we're compliant with the Alabama Digital Literacy Computer Science Expansion Act. This covers our curriculum for those K-5 technology classes within the school. This also ensures our students are getting their SIPA compliance, which is the Children's Internet Protection Act. That way they're getting that instruction for digital citizenship, and that also ensures that we're E-rate compliant. We must have that SIPA compliance signed to ensure we're E-rate, so to get those E-rate rebate funds. We need to invest in digital literacy for our students, continue to do this. We're equipping them with the skills crucial for their future endeavors. And also, this has a chance to improve our students' performance on standardized assessments. As you know, the writing component is no longer pencil and paper. It is strictly on the computer, and the students must type starting in second grade. So without this program, our students are not getting that typing practice that they need throughout the day. We also are expanding this curriculum to include AI now, as that is being added to the state standards for the digital literacy and computer science standards for the state of Alabama. So that will also be a part of it, as well as computer fundamentals, coding, computational thinking, internet usage, digital communications, spreadsheets, databases, and much more, as well as the online safety that's so important for our students. But over the last few years, I know y'all love data, and y'all always love for me to come back and tell you what our usage is for learning.com. We have seen our students complete more than 472,000 activities this year so far. That was as of probably a couple weeks ago when I pulled this report. They also have dedicated over 1,800 hours of keyboarding practice this year across our schools. So that's some big things, and we've been trying to applaud those schools who are doing that. That's what I was talking about here. It also, those keyboard skills are very important for the readiness. The quote for this, and it looks funny because there's two different ways that the company breaks it down, but the total is $140,058. This is a one-year quote. We renew it yearly with this, so we continue this curriculum for our K-5 students in technology. Are there any questions about this?
Ms. Clark?
What's the fund source? Is this technology state-based?
I think we were using some kind of general fund for this in the past.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Mr. Isaac.
Good afternoon, Dr. Byrd. I guess it's evening, Madam President and board members. I'm actually coming before you not to talk about any quotes, even though I am grouped with academics and accountability, but to let you know about a funding stream that may be potentially coming to our district. So I'm here to talk to you about the 21st Century Grant application process that we went through. We did go through the process and apply for the 21st Century Grant. The 21st Century Grant is a federally funded program that provides students with after-school and summer learning opportunities focused on reading, math, STEM, while also incorporating tutoring aspects as well as engagement activities, which could include field trips and other enrichment opportunities. For the schools that applied, it was a collaborative partnership between the Office of Federal Programs and those respective schools. We apply as a district, but the schools help in the application process through the data analysis, the development of the actual application, as well as partnering with us with budget development and talking about the needs that the school has. Those schools that we did apply for was Brubaker Middle School, Capitol Heights Middle School, Carr Middle School, Flowers Elementary School, Goodwin Middle School, McKee Middle School, and South Lawn Middle School. The program design at each of these schools is featured on 6 different key outcomes. The first one being academic achievement, both in ELA reading and mathematics. Also, attendance and classroom engagement, behavior and reduced disciplinary incidents, holistic health and wellness, civic responsibility and community engagement. And actually on this tier, they have to do a community-based project once a semester. So I feel that that will also allow the students to get into the community as well. And then finally, parent and family engagement. Now, the question that is probably about to be asked, where we are in the application process. We have submitted to the state. They are in the process of reviewing those applications. If we were to receive all 7 applications or sites as a part of the application, we're looking at just about $2 million that the district would receive for extended day opportunities at those 7 sites. And our hope is that we will have an update in May of 2026, or I guess next month. If we do get an update before the board meeting, I will request permission to come up and give you guys an update. If we don't, then it would be shared in the connections that you receive or the June board meeting. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Cloud?
So you just took it down, or whoever took it down. Basically, the civic engagement is like service learning.
That is correct.
And then also, how many hours per day and how long in the summer with this program? Because I think that's important, that it's after school, or we're going to do before school an hour, or we're going to do just after school?
This is just going to be an after-school and summer program. As part of the application process, we mandated from a district perspective in our office that everyone that did apply also do a summer program, even though that is optional by the state. We just felt in our office that that was essential as being a holistic program. As far as hours and days, the elementary program will be 5 days a week during the school year. The middle school programs will be 4 days a week. They vary in hours anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 hours, depending on what they designed as a part of their program. As far as summer, it varied. There's some programs that follow the summer school model and are just happening in June. There's some that didn't want to conflict in doing it just in July. There's a couple schools that are doing June through July and doing it all summer. And those hours also vary as well as the days of the week. Most programs are just 4 days a week during the summer, Monday through Thursday. And those hours can range anywhere between 3 to 6 hours per day that the program is running, depending on their model.
So this would give our students, they would leave school and go to their 21st century program, and they stay there until 5 o'clock? Or-
It would depend based on, there's some that go to 4:45, I believe. There's some, if I remember correctly, that go to 5:30.
So it gives our students somewhere to be that's safe and engaging.
That is correct. As a part of the 21st century model, we are focusing, because the state also wants us to focus on attendance, classroom engagement, behavior, and reduced discipline. And by having that safe environment where students can go, we feel that that will achieve those goals.
Thank you.
My question is, I don't know why I keep forgetting these. Was every school allowed the opportunity to apply for this grant?
No, not for this cohort. We
Okay.
focused on middle schools. We did actually start in full transparency with 10 sites that we were working to create applications. There were a few sites that didn't meet the finish line for various reasons. Either it was a choice by the school to stop working through the process, or the deadline happened and we just weren't able to complete a holistic application that met the needs of both the state and our districts. So that's why we went from 10 to 7. But if the state does have another application process next year, we are dedicated to work with those 3 schools that did not make it to the finish line, or actually 2. One dropped out because they chose that they didn't want to do the program. But those 2 that didn't meet the deadline and the requirements, we will work with them more closely to help them do it, as well as we're focusing on a program of either choosing some elementary and some high school, but that hasn't been determined. If for some reason the State Department does not do another cohort next year, we would continue the process with whatever those schools would be and just develop it for the next cohort.
One last.
Okay,
I apologize. I will also say that 7 sites in one application is a pretty large grouping, and if we were to get it, it would be one of the largest in a single cohort. So our hope is to get all 7. We're dedicated and committed to that, and we're excited about having such a large grouping of schools.
right, and would you know of the one that dropped out, do they have alternative plans, or you wouldn't know that?
There are Title I funds that schools use for extended day programs. If I remember correctly, at least 2 of those 3 schools that I know of utilize Title I funds for extended day programs, as well as there are other potential funding sources or grants that we're also looking at in the Office of Federal Programs.
Very good. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, most of these were middle schools except for one elementary.
That is correct.
Are we doing a feeder pattern so is the hub at the middle school and we go up for upper elementary and go up to 9th grade, or is this standalone for that school?
For this cohort, we focused on 6-8 middle school because we found, based on our needs assessment of the district, that middle school was the area of concern both academically and in other matrices. So there is no cohort model, but as we develop our next stage of schools for the cohort, we're looking at several different models, both the cohort as well as data-driven methods to pick those schools.
Thank you.
But we'd be open to any feedback that you guys have for us as well. So,
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. No other questions? Thank you, Mr.
thank you.
Okay. Dr. Williamson. Dr. Williamson will speak with us on the non-resident enrollment policy.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Dr. Byrd. We're presenting to you this evening a recommendation for the policy for non-resident attendance. This policy would allow us to extend enrollment opportunities to children outside of our district. The policy, as you have it in front of you, shows that with this policy added to our district will not encumber any responsibility for the transportation for the students coming into our district or providing homebound services outside of our district. In addition to that, children who are accepted into the district by the application to participate in our programs would have to comply with our current district policy around attendance and around our academic expectations, and be held to the same standard as our students are per the student conduct manual. We will use this policy to allow us to be prepared for upcoming opportunities with Choose Act and drawing others into our district for the new opportunities that are connected through the key initiatives. You have questions around that. If you don't have questions about the specifics policy, then I can go into the frequently asked questions that extend beyond the policy description that you have in front of you.
Right, and I want to let the board members know you received a copy also, so.
So beyond what was outlined in the policy, I want to draw your attention to a few of the frequently asked questions that extend what you had in your write-up. So if you look at question number 2, you'll see that this policy at this time was developed so that we will have opportunity to draw families from our surrounding counties for the new magnet that is being provided at Park Crossing, and our new MPS K-12 virtual school option that will be launched for the upcoming year. And we have a tentative outline of when those applications would be available to families. You see in question 4 that through this opportunity, we have left the policy very open so that we can continue as our programs shift and as we add more programs in the district, we can be responsive to our need without having to continue to come back to the board. So the policy gives us the latitude for connecting applications to the programs, and those applications being very program specific. So for example, there is a very specific application for the magnet at Park Crossing. There's a very specific application that will be attached to the MPS K-12 virtual school. And as we continue to open up opportunities to come to any school within the district, there will be a more general application that can be utilized so that the district has the discretion to very carefully screen who is applying and make sure that any student that is coming into the district is prepared to meet the standards that have already been established by the district. It has already been outlined in the policy that our resident students will have priority for any of the programs that we have within district. So we will not give any slots to any outside family over our homegrown internal students. At this time, we are not, if you look at question 8, we are not assessing a fee for our non-resident students who apply to come to district, but we have left that open in policy that as our programs continue to morph and we continue to add more programs, that we have the opportunity to add a fee as needed. The last thing that I'll bring your attention to in the frequently asked questions on your page 3 in questions 19 and 20, we will govern this non-resident enrollment practice through an application, whether that's program specific, as I said earlier, or the general one if a student selects a school that is not one of our specialized schools, and applications will be on an annual basis. Any questions?
I have one.
Ms.
It-
Brown? Ms. Brown?
My question is, why does it have to be on an annual basis? Because, you know, with our magnet schools, and that's just for an example, the child is, as long as the child is performing in a magnet program, they are allowed to, you know, continue on. So what I'm reading into this, and maybe I'm wrong, each year, whether it's a specialized school or just a traditional school, they will have to reapply.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, the way that we've developed it so that it aligns with any specialized approved enrollment for schools, that is a renewal process each year. That does not necessarily mean that that approval will not be granted, because like in the example that you lifted up, in a magnet school, if a student is continuing to meet all of the criteria for that magnet, then they would already have a priority placement for continuing in that magnet. But it would allow us to continue to track our data as well.
And one other thing I just had a question about, is there any particular screening that occurs with these students out of district?
At this time, there has not been a specialized screening that has been identified formally, but there has been a process that has already begun in the development phase of reviewing attendance, reviewing discipline, reviewing transcripts, reviewing everything that that student provides, that family provides, to ensure that they align with both district protocols as well as the protocols for the program within which they're interested.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam President?
Yes.
I only had one, but when Ms. Brown brought up what she did, I wanted to add to that. And it's probably I just already put it in my folder. I know the money follows the children. Will we get the federal funds for these kids that are outside of Montgomery?
At the point that they enroll in our district and they're a part of our 20-day count.
Okay, I just want
Yes,
to make
ma'am.
sure. And then on what Ms. Brown said, I would tend to agree with her. And I mean, and I noticed other board members, it is true that that the magnets do, get to come back if they maintain a grade. Your answer was, we get to track them. Sometimes I think we track things. There's other things there's other things that you can track, is what I'm saying, that would seem more important. It seems that's more redundant work, not only for you, but for the parent to have to constantly apply if they are maintaining the grade that they should have to stay in that program. Do you see what I'm just asking you to, if you're over that, to like reconsider looking at that. It just seems, I have no filter or waste of time if they've got the numbers, the grade up.
Okay, yes, ma'am, and we can absolutely take that back to the committee.
Yes,
So what we're saying is if they're in good standing, no attendance problems, no behavior problems, they're maintaining their grade, then they're in good standing. That would be an easier transition to continue to stay.
Yes.
That's correct.
Another, my question would be, I noticed on here is tentative, the 16th, which is a couple of days from now. This is a big undertaking. And if we're talking about people out of the district finding information, if they call this number, there'll be somebody to answer and to help them accordingly. Because the worst thing you can be is frustrated with trying to do this and come to a new place. So we are well equipped to handle this when the calls start.
Yes, ma'am. And in addition to, and that is just one level of access for families to get information. The marketing team, this has been a collaborative effort from the Division of Student Services, the Office of Academics, as well as the marketing team. So the comms team would have a complete rollout so that we can immediately get information out to families and they can learn more. The FAQs will be placed on the website so that families have ready access to that data. And we have portals that are being developed so that families can easily access us and not just rely on a phone call. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And if you'll put it in a folder or something and email all of us, we can make sure that our constituents know the information and pass it along.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? And I think now you ladies will have to help me because, I'm on 6 sheets of paper. But I think that was all for you, Dr. Williamson. Thank you so much. Sydney Sneed, and she will address virtual school program expansion, the K-12 Learning Academy contract, and virtual school policy update.
Yes, it's a loaded presentation
Yeah.
here, but I'm going to try to answer and skim through these things as we go on because I know you have some of these things with you. As we move forward, like she said, in order to become a virtual school, we have to get to 250 students. And we need to expand because currently our district policy is only for students in 9 through 12. So in order to even move forward with the key initiative, we have to have the policy that supports the initiative that opens it up for K through 12 students across the district and beyond. That's where the last enrollment policy also comes into play. Right now, we're using the access model. That's the state model to support our virtual school. We have 25 students enrolled in that. We also have over 70 students throughout this year enrolled in the new alternative virtual program that we started this school year. So we have expanded to that. Those numbers will be included in this, as we grow to those 250. But really our key driver here is to provide flexible, high-quality alternative to traditional in-person learning for all grade levels. And also, let's get our students back. We're losing students to other virtual programs across the state. Why not us? Why not us? And that's one thing we have to ask here. So looking at that policy, we need to revise virtual program option policy 7.9 in the current handbook to include grades K-12. So anywhere it said 9 through 12, we updated it to K through 12, and where it said a student must be enrolled in Montgomery Public Schools, they will be enrolled in Montgomery Public Schools, but they do not have to be living within Montgomery County, because that's how it was stated before. And also, one other thing we changed up in the policy because it strictly said access, we removed the word access to allow flexibility for different programming utilization with our different programs. That allows us to still utilize access with some students, the possibility to use a different vendor as needed, as our students' needs change. And then now I'm going to go into the K-12. That was all on the policy that I had. Are there any questions regarding the policy before I move on to the vendor?
My understanding, if I did the math, what I'm hearing you say, we had 25, and then
I'm around
whatever. I
100
think we had
students.
95 students. So
Yeah.
we need another 155.
That's correct.
Okay, but by expanding it to K through 12, we should be able to. What is our deadline to pick up those students?
That would be the FTE enrollment in October of 2026 when we hit that 40-day mark. Ensure we have that many students enrolled to become a school. And the funding for that is in a year in arrears, but we would become a school when we hit that 250 enrollment. So at this point in time, we're calling ourselves a program. We are still a program, and that's one thing I keep saying. We are the virtual program. We are not yet a school because there's different implications that come in when we label ourselves a school versus a program.
And dumb question probably, but what happens if we shouldn't, and you've got 200? What do we go back to those 200 and say, sorry, didn't work, you've got to go back? that what we did?
No, we would continue on and continue to grow the program. I think it's something that we can do and we can grow over time. If we do not hit the 250, our goal is to get at least that and grow by 25 each year. I think that's our plan to grow for growth. But I think we have some opportunities to hit certain demographics that are interested in virtual and homeschooling options across the district and statewide. That is correct. So the virtual vendor we have selected is called K-12, so I know it's confusing. It's K-12, and we are going to be a K-12 program. They were chosen for demonstrating exemplary capability in PowerSchool integration, Alabama course of study alignment. They also have AP courses, and they have a proven track record in the state of Alabama. They do offer all those things at the bottom as well. These are some of the things they do offer. They have their own marketing strategy. They offer marketing services. They direct students back to us who go to their site. They send them back to us. So if somebody's looking for a virtual option, they send them back to Montgomery. So that helps us gain our enrollment numbers as needed. They also provide a lot of things for the students. It's an all-inclusive program. I know it looks like a big number, but that's for 250 students. That is a comprehensive program. That's all the teachers that they would need. That's all the materials they need. That's all the textbooks, everything except for the Chromebook. And we will provide that. So the cost, the program cost is $1,225,000 for that program, but that is for the 250 student enrollment.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
our Chromebooks are going yonder. Are we putting a tracking on the Chromebooks, because we're gonna be responsible for getting them back in the district? And I was looking at the sample schedule, and you've got 8 to 9:30 English, then you've got independent work on Tuesday and Thursday. Are we tracking it? Are we having facilitators to track the independent work to make sure that they are staying on task?
So K-12 does have a program manager that will send us reports, but we also have the opportunity to have some retired teachers act as facilitators for our program and ensure students stay on track as well.
Thank you.
And that was my question, the teachers. Where the teachers, we're providing teachers.
K-12 provides all the educators for the program. We will create the IEPs for the students, and they will enforce them and ensure that they are met, but we still will be the special ed facilitator for those students.
That's the next question. So we're also using it for IEPs, 504s, and our gifted children identified, because they all fall under IDEA.
Yes, they provide services, and that's required by the state of Alabama for a virtual vendor, and that's something we ensured that they had the capability to meet when we vetted the vendor.
And also too, Ms. Cloud, and we will have some requirements put in place for students that actually need special education services. We will have a radius as to the services. Because, for example, we will actually send our teachers out to provide those services. So we will target those students that are within sort of like a 50-mile radius of Montgomery Public Schools, so that we could actually provide those services as well.
They would go to the home, almost like
Right.
homebound.
Yes, ma'am. For those students that actually need those services. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That gives me a little less heartburn.
Yes, ma'am.
And currently in our virtual program, we do have a special ed facilitator that works with our students that are in our current virtual program, and he would remain on, as well as our counselor who is there now.
And how is this working with MTSS, tiered instruction?
The MTSS will be provided by the instructors from K-12.
Okay, thank you.
And that is the schedule that you did see that you had some questions about. They do offer synchronous learning. So that's one thing about them that other vendors may not necessarily have. It's not just sitting in front of the computer. They have a virtual instructor that they're actually watching at a certain time on certain days of the week, where the teacher meets and discusses things with the class at the same time, just like they were in a classroom, but they're watching them virtually, like on a Zoom.
they don't show up with this virtual teacher at this particular time, they're counted as absent.
That is correct.
Just wanting to make
You're
sure.
welcome. We try to do our homework and, and shop around for the best vendor that fit us best. So the next steps is we have to secure the legal and board approval for policy and handbook updates, as well as the vendor contract. Then we can move forward with staff recruitment and hire based on the ALSD staffing guidelines, and then launch the applications for the 250 student cohort for the upcoming term. The earlier, the better. We don't want to lose students now to making other commitments throughout. We need to get the application launched as soon as possible. And then also plan parent events, working with communications and the parent engagement liaison to show them what virtual is about, what it'll look like, and draw them into our program.
And it's gonna be Monday through Friday, 8 or 7, whatever, to the regular school day, or is it gonna be flexible?
It is somewhat flexible. The synchronous classes are during the school day, but the students have the opportunity to do the work on their schedule. Any other questions about the policy or the programming?
No, just a comment from me, Dr. Berry, when we put this together again, if we could have contract and everything that goes with it, because I know of the urgency, we just needed to slow it down to hear what we were doing.
Yes,
So if you could give us the whole package together, perhaps we can present it and get it approved.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very well done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sneed. Okay. Staff conduct policy and social media policy with Ms. Powell. Now, she did present those at the last working session. However, there were some changes which made it a different document. So we needed to be aware of that again.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Byrd. I'll be discussing with you the employee conduct policy draft. As Madam Chair explained, this document was presented previously at the last board meeting. The conduct policy, it updates policy 5.01, and it essentially will add the mandatory reporting and specified inappropriate conduct that's prohibited by employees, all employees. So specifically, what you'll notice on your red outline is there are some grammatical changes, but on your second page, subsection L, it adds prohibited employee conduct, and it just further defines what type of conduct is inappropriate. And there's not much difference in this document than what you guys received at the last board meeting, aside from like some grammatical edits as well as some word changes. But it doesn't materially change the document as presented regarding the staff conduct policy. Are there any questions regarding staff conduct? Okay, moving along to the social media policy. Now, the social media policy is an addition. It's a new policy, and so it is proposed to be added to Section 5, but it would be Section 5.01.2, and it describes behavior that is prohibited regarding the general use of social media. So the document that you have, you'll see quite a few red lines. However, those red lines are reflective of the edits that I made to the original document that you received at the last board meeting. And because this is an addition to the policy, I added the red lines, but I maintained the previous language that was there in that blue font so that you could see what was taken away. And so the social media policy primarily addresses what employees should or how employees should handle and engage on social media. while making sure that we are very cognizant of employees' constitutional rights. The social media policy is, it is a different document than what you guys seen before. However, from a material standpoint, it doesn't, what you have before you does not change the effect of what you previously saw. Are there any questions regarding the social media policy?
Say that again.
So,
What we saw.
so the document that you guys received during the March board meeting, what you have the red line version, this, it still has the same effect as the document that you've seen previously. However, we had to change and update the language a little bit just so that we can be cognizant of employees' constitutional rights. So it does not necessarily change what you guys had before. We just had to make sure that we change some of the language or how it's worded.
Right. So in the future, we'll get all of these changes before the presentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what's expected. Yes.
Okay.
I want to make sure that HR, when they're onboarding new employees, that they definitely, and the employees sign off that they understand the Alabama Education Code of Ethics and that this has gone over with them and they understand what's expected from the get-go, from the onboarding. I think that's important.
Yes, and I believe Dr. Ford, that they do have that. And so I'm sure Dr. Ford can speak to that and make sure that that's taken care of.
Thank you so much, Ms. Powell. I know the board members have been watching my every move and ticking these off. As we go, I don't see any other business left. Am I right or wrong? We covered it the way it came off. I thank you all for the diversion. We really did need it to do it. So thank you so much, Dr. Bird. Thank you so much. Okay, our next meeting date will be May 12th. Oh, I'm sorry, I am wrong. Unfinished business. Any unfinished business, ladies? Okay, Ms. Smith?
Just as a reminder, we were talking about the, putting on our calendar another date for special call meetings. I said the third Tuesday, I meant the fourth Tuesday. So that gives them 2 weeks and we don't have to come back to back. So just to kind of, yes, I mean, just from this point forward, yeah, the fourth Tuesday of each month.
Fourth Tuesday of each month as a possible block for a special call if we need it. We may not need it and we'll let you know in plenty of time. Right now, we have one April 28th. And we will check with Ms. Brown, see what that time looks like. We can't always meet. We want to be respectful. Can't always meet early in the day. So we will make sure that's published in a timely fashion. Okay, any other unfinished business? No more unfinished business. Moving to new business. New business, summer employment applications, just to put it on somebody's radar, for students that work for MPS. Board members, please check your graduation dates, times, and I imagine we, even after the renovation, will go into the Acadome the same way. Okay. Our chief in charge is shaking his head, so make sure you check. So we want you in attendance. And I think that is it. So if all minds and hearts are clear, May 12th, 5 o'clock, we'll see you right here in this same room. Those of you that are watching online, we thank you very much, and we'll see you then. This meeting is now adjourned.